What's going on, everyone? It's my back again. I'm here with Callum, and I'm still buzzing my tits off. What a performance yesterday, and I couldn't believe it. I could not believe how good we was. Cal, how are you, first of all? Saw you on Toffee Blues, smashed it the other night. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, Mike. I'm in the same position, still buzzing over the win against Brighton. Big win, big performance. So, yeah, let's get right into it, talking about the game. For once, we're actually excited to talk about Everton games.
Yeah, mate. Look, do you know what I want to do? It sounds bad, but I want to sort of deliver this a bit like a shit sandwich. Only I'm just going to move one of the loaves of bread, one of the slices of bread. I'm going to get straight into the shit. One shit situation happened yesterday with our main man, Richarlison. What was your take on it, bruv?
I think he's just passionate, isn't he? And like I saw a few people say, it might have even been you said it as well. I've seen a few people say that it might have been the fact that Richarlison, it might be one of his last games for the club and he wants to score for Everton. I don't think it's that. Because in the end,
No.
I don't think some PSG are going to stump up. Because in the end, if PSG want to come up to us and go, here's £100 million for Richarlison, I know it's the end of the window, but listen, that's, I think it was you who said it, it's money we can't turn down. It's £100 million. And even in January, we'll still be in this environment where players are cheaper because of the impacts of the pandemic. So we will be able to bring in these players. And then maybe, for example, Diaz, now it's saying that us and Porto can't reach a deal because they don't want James anymore. Selling Richarlison, instantly we can bring Diaz in, and I don't want Richarlison to go, and I don't think it's that. I just think it's he wanted to take the penalty because I think he got confused about the hierarchy. I think he thought because Dom took one in the last game, that meant it was his turn. Because Rafa said that Richarlison's on second. I don't think Richarlison understands that it means if we get 2 penalties in the game. But I think it's all fine now. I just think it was a spur of the moment thing. We know what Richarlison's like. He kicks out and he gets emotional about everything. So I don't really think it's anything we need to worry about.
I'm hoping you're absolutely bang on. And when I said it yesterday, it was because I was trying to find a sort of an answer to a solution or conundrum situation. And look, I don't want Richarlison to leave. And I've said this before, I think Richarlison, I think he scored 7 Premier League goals last season.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think even until the last few hours of the transfer window, we could replace his 7 goals. It's the rest of what he offers that I think Everton would struggle to replace. Yes, we brought in some good professionals in Andros Townsend and Amari Gray. Look like they'll battle for the shirt. Certainly, Andros Townsend really impressed me yesterday. How he ran straight over, he got involved. He's a bit of a leader like that. We need more of that in the Everton team. And I just thought, I just didn't understand. And if PSG or anyone come in and offered Everton 85 to £100 million, even on deadline day, even with 20 minutes to go, I'll let him go, because I think we can still replace his goals internally. Iwobi looks better. Damari Gray looks like he's gonna chip in with a few. Decore looks like he's gonna score a few more than he has done the season before. I think we can cover his goals. The worrying thing is his work ethic. Now, I don't know if we can cover that. But look, it's just me surmising at the end of the day. There was loads of positives, and that's what I mean. I wanted just to sort of touch on it because I wanted your take on it, to be honest, because I know you sit there and sort of analyse these things, and I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest.
Neither really. It's just in the end, stuff like this happens in football, and I don't think it's Richarlison trying to throw a strop to get his move to PSG. Because in the end, right, in PSG only get Richarlison if they pay us the money we want. So in the end, we're gonna get £100 million possibly for Richarlison, because I think that's about 120 million euros is around.
Yeah,
100 million to 110 million pounds. So in the end, we're getting well worth money for him. And if they want to pay that money, that we can get them to do what we did with Iwobi on, I think it was deadline day, where we just threw money at Arsenal and we're like, we need someone. If we're smart about, well, if the club's smart about this, and I honestly sometimes don't know if they are, we've seen the PSG interest, and we've now got a list of Richarlison replacements, which is what I think Diaz is.
yeah.
I think Diaz is a Richarlison replacement. A big list of players who can replace Richarlison and go, right, if he's even talking to PSG, we start talking to Porto for Diaz, we start talking to other clubs for this player, we at least, so for example, maybe we get personal terms agreed with Diaz, and then it's Richarlison leaves, bang, get the fee sorted with Porto, and we're done. I hope it's that, but knowing Everton, it might not be. But I do think if Richarlison leaves, we need another top-class winger, because I love Townsend. I think Gray's gone from an expected squad player to he has to start most games now. And then, the midfield's really come alive. I think Alan and Decore have come on leaps and bounds under Rafa. I think Alan was good before his injury, but I think he's actually getting to that level again now. And as long as he doesn't get an injury, we'll be fine. I think Mason Holgate's been all right. I think the problem has been Michael Keane at the back, really, and he was even better in the Brighton game. I think everything all around looks a little bit better, and it's just the hope that if Richarlison can leave, we've got plans to replace him quickly, even if that means we have to loan someone in until January, because I think a lot of people are panicking. I think we can live with Townsend, Gray, these players until January, because January is only after the window ends. It's 3 months. I think we can live 3 months, and especially with the run we're on now, because we are battling for. I'd say we're battling for 7th. Yeah. I'd say, and who are probably our top rivals for 7th right now. West Ham, who are on good form, but we're leveling with West Ham, and we've faced similar levels of competition.
Yeah,
Arsenal, another team that we're competing with, we've already got a 7-point gap on them. Leeds, we've got a big gap on Leeds. Only got what? Leeds have got 2 points, 5-point gap on them. So as long as we can just keep getting steady results, because in the end it's Burnley next, and then is it Villa Norwich or Norwich Villa?
I think it's Villa away. Then I seem to think it's Norwich at home. Then I think it's Manchester United away. Then West Ham at home. I think they're the fixtures.
So if we can keep picking up points, because I think we can beat Villa. I think, to be honest, Danny Ings has been really good. They signed the second best winger from Leverkusen to move to the Premier League this summer. And but I think Bailey will probably still be injured, because I think he's got a hamstring thing, I think. And I think, I just think we can pick up all these points. I think we can beat Burnley, beat Villa, beat Norwich, going into a Man United game then where we still haven't lost, where we can then go, do you know what? We'll put the fight in now. At least we can go, as long as we don't get thrashed by United like we did in pre-season, we can afford to have some breathing room here, even with a loss.
Well, it's interesting, actually, because before we did this stream, and this stream will come out later than what we've recorded it, but, I was watching the Man United game before we started. Manchester United, within 7 minutes, could be 2-0 down to Wolves because of hit counter. If Everton are going to use that pace, which we now have, we can hurt these teams. Let's go on to the Leeds. The Leeds. Jesus Christ, the Brighton game. Everton, I think it is fair to say, were as dominant as they were in any game last season. I think it was a really mature performance. I'm going to mention a couple of players. You've mentioned one already. I'm going to mention Mason Holgate, because I think I've criticised Mason and I've criticised him this season, but his partner, all of the times I've seen him play and those mistakes, were Michael Keane. Now, this season, or certainly that game, I sort of felt like he'd been given a rocket up his arse and sort of told, look, if you get the ball, you fucking play it. It's either you make a pass or you twat it out the ground. You don't hold on to it, do a fucking pirouette on it, try doing step overs and skinning the striker. No point doing that. And I thought it was a really mature performance from Mason Holgate yesterday. What did you think?
Yeah, I think it was his. I think it was one of his better performances in a while. Just like a lot of our team put in their best performances in months. I think he looked a lot more composed on the ball. It was one thing I like to see. He seemed to have finally regained some confidence that he might have lost.
Yeah.
And hopefully that means we can get the centre back from 1920, not the 2021 one, where he was arguably one of our better players and definitely our best centre back.
Well, we felt robbed that he didn't get in an England squad, if you remember.
Yeah, I do. And now we've got Godfrey for that. But I think, him, I think he is the rotation centre back.
Yeah.
I think the main partnership should be Mina and Godfrey.
Yeah.
But yeah, Holgate can then slide in whenever needed at centre back, in a back three, whatever Rafa wants to do. And I think if he keeps putting in good performances, moving on to next week with Burnley, a team where he will have to be careful because Burnley take the chances that they're given, as shown against Leeds today, that they will take the chances they're given, but they also won't make many chances. So Holgate just has to be good in small doses, kind of like how he was against Brighton. He didn't need to do much. He just had to be good in small doses, and that helped us win. And I think he was a vital part in keeping the clean sheet. I think him, Coleman, Pickford. I think Keane was all right. He didn't blow me away, but I also think that might be me looking a bit skeptical at Michael Keane now.
Let's start from the back. Let's start from goalkeeper and give these players a rating, shall we? Because I think it's important that we really promote how well they did. Let's start in goal. Jordan Pickford, very quiet afternoon, but when he was called upon, what number would you give him out of 10?
I'd give him a 7. I was tempted to do an 8 just because of that one free kick where Gross and it swerved in. And I don't know. To be fair to him, I didn't think it was that good until I rewatched it because I thought it hit his body. He was dived the wrong way and then got back and saved it with one hand. And Pickford, we've always said he has buttery wrists and buttery fingers, and it's just the ball literally hit his hand and then just stopped. It was all the momentum from the ball came out from one tap against his hand, and that's a good sign of how much Pickford's improved over time. And I think when called upon, he did what was necessary. He made some big saves, even if there weren't many required. And I think, you've got to give him a 7 for that because he still, in the end, kept a clean sheet, commanded the defence, said something very funny to Neil Maupay if everyone's seen it. But besides that, 7. We can say 8. From what it looks like he looks at him and goes, "Get up, you little cunt."
Brilliant. Fucking splendid.
That's the guy linked to joining us.
Brilliant. Fucking fantastic. Yeah, I agree. I'd give Jordan a 7. The only reason he doesn't get a higher score for me is I felt that some of the sort of look, and again, it's very easy for me to criticise a Premier League goalkeeper because look at me, I am clearly the best striker in the world. But I felt like at times he couldn't catch the ball. The ball sort of bounced off his gloves a few times. And I think if they were maybe a little bit more alert, Brighton, he could have possibly caught us a few problems. There was certainly one where Decore had to mop up for him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll give him a 7. We'll fly through the back four because we've touched on Mason Holgate and Michael Keane. But Seamus Coleman, he also gets a 7 from me, maybe even a 7.5. I thought that was one of the most dependable performances I've seen in a long time from Seamus Coleman. He was everywhere, forward, backwards. He won us a penalty. It was like he rolled back the years yesterday, and I really, really enjoyed watching that. So I personally give him a 7.5.
Yeah, I think I agree. To be honest with you, I think Seamus Coleman's been a top 5, arguably maybe even top 3 player for the club this season because he's just putting in consistently good performances. The things that Seamus Coleman used to do for us, he was, he was always one of the best right backs in the league on his day before the leg breaks and before that. But he wasn't a blow-away right back. He was just shockingly consistent. These first 3 games, pure consistency is what we've got out of him. I'd never below a 7. Never below a 7. 1. And that's, I do think I think we all know we still need a right back because, as I said, Coleman can't do that for 38 games.
No.
Even if it's just bringing someone on Coleman's level in to rotate with him, that's not a problem. Clearly, if we know that we can get this out of Coleman for 20, 25 games, or maybe even 15, 20 games, then the other guy can come in and do the other 15 to 18 games, then that's fine. But yeah, I think Seamus Coleman, he's not proving a lot of us wrong because we know how good he is, but he's showing he hasn't lost that talent yet to be a Premier League right back.
Agreed. Okay. Mason Holgate, he gets a 7 from me, and so does Michael Keane. They both get 7s.
Yeah, strong, dependable centre backs, good performance, clean sheet. You've got to give him a 7. I think Holgate stood out more than Keane, but he didn't stand out enough to get that 7.5.
Yeah, fair dues. Luca Dean, he gets a 7. He gets a 7, but I might be being slightly harsh because I could also give him a 7.5. He did bomb on the left-hand side. Defensively, I don't think he got caught out. But
I've got to be honest, and this is again just a small gripe. Again, Premier League footballer talking here. I don't think his deliveries from corners has been very good this season so far. I know, obviously, in the second half it was better, but certainly against Leeds, and I think the first half against Brighton, I thought his corners were pretty poor.
Oh, they were quite bad, but to be fair, Andros Townsend's a reliable corner taker, and I think it was the one against Leeds where he almost sent it out of the stadium. I think Digne as well is coming back off an injury as well, isn't he? So I think it's just, there's a big difference between taking a corner in training and taking one in a Premier League game. I think we'll get to a point, and I think, we saw it in the Brighton game, it eventually more and more. Because to be honest, I bet he didn't even expect to take that many corners. Because I bet even Digne was sat there was like, wait, what? Because I expected it. Like when I did my first article for Prince Rupert's Tower, I was like, don't expect possession. Don't expect dominance. Expect the Leeds game again, where we can grind it out. They made me look stupid.
Mm-hmm.
They absolutely dominated them. And I think, the fullbacks were a big part of that. But I also do think the delivery could have been a bit better. But I also think he was really good in transitioning from defence to midfield or defence to attack. The things Digne does. So he didn't blow me away. I can't, for example, I don't think he was better than Coleman.
No, exactly.
I think a 7's perfectly the right score.
Let's move on to the middle two then. The defensive. Well, they don't really play as centre defensive midfielders anymore. They sort of play as number sixes, just up and down, up and down, up and down, and that's Allen and Decore. And I'm going to give Decore a 7.5. And I'm going to give Allen. Well, I gave Allen my man of the match yesterday, so I'm actually going to give him a 9. I absolutely thought Decore was sound, dependable. He obviously cleared the ball when we could have genuinely, they could have scored. And Allen was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it was. I'd actually go as far as saying it was his most dominant midfield display in a blue shirt yesterday. He was fucking brilliant.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was every ball. I think he's got. I retweeted it, and I might have to go take a little look in a minute. But he's got like the most tackles, the most ball recoveries, and the most something else in the Premier League right now. So
he did that. He did that last season before he got injured. He was top of everything again.
Yeah, I think, and then he came back, and it was obviously. I think he got rushed back personally.
Yeah,
I do really think he got rushed back, and it affected his performance. But yeah, Alan, I'll give him a 9 because a 10 performance is. I know because he got an assist as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
I'll give him a 9 because a 10, I'm going to be stingy in 10. A 10 is the top, like a top performance where Alan gets an assist, and then just like, because I do think there was still a few. I don't think he was perfect throughout the game, but I also think he did so well that you just have to. It was ridiculous. It was like, it got to the point where it got to like the 60th, 70th minute, and it's the most comfortable I've ever felt watching Everton. Yeah, I was sat back with the stream and I was like, we're winning. Don't care. What are Brighton going to do? And Brighton are a team who I've always had a lot of praise for. I think they're a team that can get results. I mean, they had 6 points. Like, don't get me wrong. They didn't beat fantastic teams, but they also put on fantastic performances against those teams and shut them out of games. I think they came expecting what happened last season at the Amex, where they absolutely shredded us and were so unlucky to have a 0-0 draw. We clenched our arse cheeks and hoped for our lives during that game. And then we came into this game, let them have 10 minutes of the ball, and then went, right, your fun's over now, lads. And it was fantastic, Alan being the main part. I think Decore gets a 7. And I'm only giving him a 7 and not a 7.5 because I'm holding him to lofty standards after those first 2 games. The guy has been ridiculous. The guy has looked like one of the better midfielders in the league this season.
Yeah,
I'm not saying summer. Alan as well, just dominant. It was pure dominant defensive performance. It's something you'd expect from N'Golo Kante, which in my opinion is the highest praise you can give a defensive midfielder. It was an N'Golo Kante-like performance, and he completely shut the Brighton midfield out of the game, to the point where Basuma was getting so annoyed he was trying to start fights with Richarlison later on in the game. So yeah, I think both midfielders should be really proud this season. I think Alan was a bit under the sun because of how good Decore was, But now, he's showing that if these two can keep it up, then we've really got a top-level midfield. And really, with midfield especially being so strong, then as long as these two can stay fit, we could really mount a European or a cup charge personally.
Yeah, let's get into the three in front of them too. I completely agree with your comments there. Who do you want to start with?
We'll go from worst to best. And is it Richarlison or is it Townsend? I think Townsend were better.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Look, none of the players, in my opinion, get less than a 7, just to put it out there. But out of the 3, I thought Richarlison was the worst. And you've got to throw in there his little strop. Otherwise, he might not necessarily be worst.
I'm going to give him a 6.5 because of his little strop.
No, fair enough. You've disciplined him. You've gone right, Richie. I love you, but you need to learn.
Please don't leave because I've give you a 6.5. Don't. That's not what I mean. But I think he kind of threw the strop and then threw his toys out of the pram a little bit. Like, even when Dom celebrated, Dom, instead of celebrating, runs, and then he's trying to talk to Richie, if you've seen it.
Yeah.
And he's like, Dom's the penalty taker, and he's literally scored, in my opinion, 2 perfect penalties.
Yeah.
The keeper's gone the perfect way, but the penalty was so good that, unlucky, mate, there's nothing you can do about it. And I think Richie has to look and go, well, yeah, I shouldn't be taking penalties if his are that good. If Dom misses, then I could understand why he was angry. But then it's throwing the little strop. It's because at 1 minute it looked like they were going to try fight each other.
That's what I mean. He put unnecessary pressure on Dom, because if Dom had missed, Richarlison would go, I told you I should have took it, when actually you've just added an extra 30 seconds to a minute on because you've stropped. And it was really petulant. It was like a small child in a shop yesterday. It was poor.
You can tell he's been hanging around with Neymar, to put it simply.
There you go. We move on to the next man. I'm going to go Townsend next. He also gets a 7 from my perspective. I really like his leadership skills. I liked his comments that he made after the game as well, where he's very clearly proud of the fact that he plays for Everton. He's been given the opportunity to play for Everton. And I do feel like me and Cam, I seem to remember me and Cam doing a video at the start of the season, and I remember us saying we want to sign players that have got something to prove. Townsend at 31 doesn't necessarily have anything to prove, but he does when it comes to an Everton team. He's not played in a I'm not going to say a top side, because I don't want to blow smoke up our arse, but he hasn't played in a team that's got ambitions to be a top side. Probably since his Spurs days.
Spurs days, because Newcastle, fresh off relegation, and Crystal Palace are Crystal Palace.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So, he's come into this side, and I'm really proud of what he's actually done. Actually, I'm really glad that we signed him, and I think he's been a great leader. And I just thought yesterday was a disciplined display, getting back, helping support the team. Absolutely, I've got nothing else to say on him. I just thought he was really. He's technically not the best, but he just works hard. And if you work hard in an Everton shirt, I don't think any fan will slag you off.
No, and his crossing is really good, isn't it? He's got a good swing of the ball. Like, I seem to remember one where he gets tackled by the Brighton player, manages to win it back, he's turned off balance, and then swings across in that. I think we win the header on. And I'm like, because in the end, he does so much, doesn't he? In the end, look at when he just knocked the ball out of Richarlison's hand and gave it to Calvert-Lewin. And you know he's a good leader because Richarlison, instead of throwing a strop with him, didn't do it. Didn't direct all towards Townsend, because Townsend clearly Townsend was like, right, let's get this over with. You know how the hierarchy works, Richie. Give it to Dom. He doesn't smack the ball, taps it out of his hand, picks it up, puts it straight in, gets the game on with. And I do think, I don't think he should start for the club. That's no offense to him. But I do think he's a really, really useful piece to have around. And I think, let's say we sign Diaz, for example. Richie gets injured and we have to play Andros Townsend. It's not an no. It's a really good. And I do think, personally do think Iwobi should probably be starting over him now. because I think Iwobi keeps putting in fantastic performance after fantastic performance. But at the same time, for Townsend, he hasn't let us down yet. He's been dependable. And that's, I think, the one thing that Rafa's brought. Every player who plays, besides Michael Keane right now, is dependable and reliable, something that they weren't under Ancelotti. And I think that's the best part about Rafa, is he's made a mid-table side dependable and he's getting the best out of them. An example being Andros Townsend, a mid-table player. He's playing to a higher standard because he's playing. Maybe it's because the talent is around him, but he knows there's high expectations and he's performing to the expectations, which is all we can ask for a free transfer.
Yeah, of course it is. Let's move on to our. I'm gonna say he weren't quite our star man yesterday, but he certainly was up there. Damari Gray, as I've mentioned before, local lad to me. From a personal perspective, I couldn't be prouder of him. I think he's doing really well. It's scary actually where he's come from to where he is now. You know, this is a kid that played for Cadbury Athletic. A lot of people won't necessarily know that team, but they're a team that I played for. There was a 4-year gap between us.
I thought you were about to say you played with Damari Gray then.
No, I didn't. There was a 4-year gap. Just to put in perspective, Cadbury Athletic, if you ever wanted to Google like any of the players that played for them, Danny Sturridge played for them, Gabby Abonglahor, Damari Gray, me. So
top of the top.
Some quality players have played for Cadbury, and it's huge credit to him how well he's done, and he takes his goal really well yesterday. And for me, he gets an ace.
Yeah, he's just, to put it simpler, it took Alan's best performance of his Everton career to top Damari Gray.
Yeah,
Damari Gray is the bargain of the season. Never mind, they just paid 19 million for Cristiano Ronaldo. Sorry, Damari, that's not your fault, lad. That's not your fault, lad. They've just paid 20 million for Cristiano Ronaldo. He's the best signing under 20 million. Oh, no shit, Ronaldo was 9. He's the best signing under 15 million.
Well done. Brilliant.
There you go. He's the best signing not called Cristiano Ronaldo. Until Jadon Sancho scored a hat-trick today when I checked my phone.
To be honest, at 36 years old in the Premier League, I think Cristiano is going to be very, very interesting to watch. I'm not saying he's not going to do well. I think he will do well, obviously. But a lot of people are going to be unfairly, in my opinion, comparing him to 10 years ago, which...
Yeah, but I think the problem is he's not 36, is he?
No.
His passport says he's 36, but that man's still 27 somehow.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. But yeah, Damari Gray I think he's going to go down as one of the top 5 signings of the season out of any player, any price range. Because in the end, I said this to someone, we paid £1.7 million. If he only puts in 10 performances like that, that's fine.
Yeah.
We've got, because let's put it simply, you'd look at the way Damari Gray playing think we did actually sign Leon Bailey.
Yeah, and it's very quick, can beat a man.
And it's like the one problem I think a lot of us had with Damari Gray was he was one of those wingers with no end product. The same problem we've had with Iwobi. You know, he brought that pace, but then he's showing it something he's really worked on. You know, 2 nicely taken goals, and there's clearly a finishing instinct in there because it's not like Brighton's keeper had a bad game. Robert Sanchez had a fantastic game.
Yeah.
And he was able to slide it right into that bottom corner, perfectly place it. And I just think, I think there's a lot more of this to come. I think this is Damari Gray's breakout season. I honestly do see him getting at minimum 10 Premier League goals this season. I think he's going to be one of our top contributors. I could even see him being a player of the year if he keeps this up. Because in the end, he's involved in everything we do in the attack. What's he carry it? 35 yards?
Yeah.
He carries it 35 yards. And the best part about him is he looks around, goes, shit, I've got no one with me. Don't worry, lads, watch this. Takes him on, slides it past the keeper. And that's 2-2 for him. And it's 2-2 at away grounds with good fan bases. Leeds have got a good fan base. Brighton have got a good fan base. The guy doesn't feel the pressure. He comes in and this is what I mean about Everton. Maybe we do need to take more chances with players who need to prove themselves. Because Damari Gray has proved himself within 3 games at Everton.
Yeah.
I do think he has, because people say, oh, he did this at Leicester and then he dropped off. But I personally don't think he's going to drop off. I don't think he's the same player. I think he's matured massively, and maybe that experience of going out to Germany has helped a lot to improve him as a player. So I really am happy for Demarai Gray. I think he gets an 8. Maybe I'll give him an 8.5 actually. Because I do still think Alan was the man of the match, but I don't think Gray was massively behind him. So I think Gray gets an 8.5, and I just hope he can keep it up for Everton. I really do.
Absolutely. And let's just briefly, just because I'm conscious of time, let's just briefly go on to Calvert-Lewin. Come off with an injury, took a good penalty. He has an opportunity on the right-hand side where he probably should try and pass to Richarlison rather than shoot, but I mean, I'm not going to criticise a striker for shooting in the 18-yard box, but I personally thought he should have passed. He gets a 7.5 for me. Composed finish, decent Premier League performance. He couldn't hold up the ball as well as he usually does, but that was because the Brighton centre-backs did a good job. I thought Basuma, certainly first 40 minutes, I thought he did a good job until the goal, and then he could just completely dropped out of the game. But yeah, 7.5 for Dom for me.
Yeah, I think I'll give him a 7. I think he could have done better, and I think that's just because we do have high expectations of him now. I think high expectations that he deserves to have on him because of how good he is. I don't think he really blew me away, but I think the penalty was really well taken. I like how he was trying to, show his camaraderie, talking to Richarlison. I really like that, and I do like the fact that he's the first player since Dixie Dean 1934-35 to score 3 consecutive games twice in a row. You know what I mean? The guy's a goal scoring machine, and in the end, I think this is his. People say last season was his breakout season. I think it's this season because I think this is the season where everyone now looks at Calvert-Lewin and goes, "That's one of the best strikers in Europe, not England."
But now he's on penalties as well. He'll have the stats to back it because
I think he's gonna finish top 3 in Golden Boot personally.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think, yeah, I agree with you. Let's just briefly move on to one man. You've already mentioned him, but I want to just talk about him. He comes on for Calvert-Lewin. Alex Iwobi. Now, I said in my match reaction, I don't know if you've had a chance to watch it yet, but I said in my match reaction yesterday, I don't want to blow too much smoke up Alex's arse because he's had these patches before. Last season, at one point, I was doing watch-alongs calling Iwobi Iwobinia. I had people messaging saying it's Iwobinator. There's loads of nicknames we can give him for being consistent, and he was at times last season. I think there was 5 games in a run where he played, and I thought really happy with that. Completely dropped off. He started this season really, really, really well. And as I say, I don't want to blow smoke up his arse. I just want him to be consistent. I want him to prove me wrong because I criticised him when he signed. I said he weren't good enough at times last season. I said he weren't good enough the season before. And I'm still very much on the fence about him now. He's had 3 good performances, but they've been fantastic performances. And it's got to the point where you've got people on Twitter making 3 or 4 minute cameo videos of him for a 25-minute performance. That's how good he was yesterday. He arguably, if he'd have played the entire game, he arguably would have been up there for man of the match. He was phenomenal.
Yeah, he was unreal. And I think it's, the one game I do bring up, it's not Brighton, it's Huddersfield. And, the one problem we've always had with Iwobi is his end product. That finish goes past any goalkeeper in world football. Yeah. The goal against Huddersfield. He slots that past anyone. He's been involved in what now? is it 9 now we've scored?
Yeah.
He's been involved in almost 50% of our goals. Yeah. Alex Iwobi, the guy we think had no end product. And, I think the end product's clearly improved. It might still not be up to the standards we want after 38 games, but there's been clear improvement because I think Rafa's come in, realised you don't need to work on anything else. Just keep working on that end product. We know you've got the skills. We know you can play a decent short pass. We know you can get people involved in the game. Just focus on getting to the wing position and crossing or burying that ball. And I think we're really seeing that now. Even his little header to Decore in the Southampton game. People are like, oh, well, that's an easy assist. Well, it's not. Because he still had to perfectly place it to Decore, which he did.
He had the vision to do it, rather than nodding it back into the 6-yard box. He heads it sideways. He looks at. I mean, you can't criticise him for anything, in my opinion.
No, he's another one who's been top this season, and I don't think he'll keep it up to this standard. But I also think the days of us going, not the days of us saying he won't worth the money, because in the end he cost a lot of money, and I think maybe he will be able to fulfill that price tag one day. Maybe if he can keep this up, keep the steady. I don't know if Iwobi's involved in 15 goals this season.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. It's a tough one because as of now, you probably would argue you wouldn't have spent probably 12 million on him. But as you rightly say, if he has a good season this season, the Premier League's very fickle. Football fans are fickle. I'm fickle. You know, it could be worth 40 million quid at the end of next summer. Who fucking knows?
Yeah, because the thing is with Iwobi as well is he only has one thing to work on. I think he's got his all-around game. Even he's a good defensive winger. He's got the energy. He's got the skills. He's one of the better dribblers in the Premier League, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. But he doesn't get
easy.
Yeah, he doesn't get compared to the top dribblers because the top dribblers beat a man and then score.
Yeah,
Iwobi's now beating a man and scoring, beating a man and assisting, and I think he's involved in so much of what we do. I think Rafa trusts him, and I think that's why as soon as Calvert-Lewin got down, you didn't even see a look of worry on Rafa's face. It was, oh, all right, come on, Iwobi, let's go. Because even if I think Dom sits out Burnley, I think it's a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
And I'd never say that usually, but we can put Richie up top, and then we'll have, and this obviously we might have signed someone by then. The deadline's on Tuesday, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we might be fine. But, you know, I'm not bothered about having Townsend, Gray, Iwobi with Richie up top. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm happy with that.
Let's move on then. Let's talk about deadline day. We'll leave this really brief. Your players leaving Everton. Just give me names. Go.
Andre Gomez. I think Nkunku's going to leave on loan, even though I don't want him to. I think Nkunku's going to leave because there's a Belgian club interested in him. I don't really know. I think Gomez. I think even Gomez was decent though when he came on. But I think Gomez's pass was really good, by the way.
Yeah,
Gomez's pass for Townsend was really good. And it was a brief flash of Andre Gomez before the injury, but I still think he's out the door. I don't know, because everyone who's played's been impressive. I really think. And I think there are just some players that we can't get rid of right now. Tosson's injured, so no one will buy him. Yeah, I think we'll see a few loans, and maybe Moise Kean. That's obviously guaranteed at this point. We know it's happening. So Moise Kean, Andre Gomez, maybe Nkunku and Gordon on loan, and then for permanent, I don't really know. I don't think there's going to be as many as we all expected.
I think so. So just to throw my names in, I think Moise Keane's gone. So agree with you. Although before we sending off, I thought he played well against Huddersfield, but there you go. So Moise Keane's gone. Andre Gomez, I think, will sign for Benfica. I do think it'll be a permanent deal, personally. I think James Rodriguez will go, either Milan or Porto. Don't know where. Don't really care. I think Anthony Gordon will go out on loan. And I think if Everton can bring in a right back, which I think is a must, bearing in mind we've needed one for 4 years, I think it's a must we bring in a right back. I think John Joe Kenny goes out as well. Loan or permanent, but I think he goes. So they're the 5 I think will move on deadline day or just beforehand. Who comes in?
I've been big on, Diaz. Diaz is the one coming in, but I don't know now. Because it's the Portuguese press that are saying he won't go, but we signed Nunes about 85 times according to them. So yeah. I don't really know. I think a right back 100% comes in. I think because Rafa said, I believe it was after Brighton, there's 2 or 3 players. There's 2 or 3 names that, he's basically said there's 2 or 3 names that might come in or will come in. And I think we're being a lot quiet, kind of, like how Danny Ings was with Southampton and Villa. I think we're doing that. I think we're making sure we can get these players before people start finding out about it. So I think there's a lot of private talks going on. I think it will be a right back.
No, Callum's just froze there. Absolutely superbly. So we think. Oh, there he is. Is he back?
Yeah. Hello.
Hello. Hi. Nice to see you.
No, I don't know what happened there because you said I crashed and then I could still see myself, but then it just. But yeah, I don't know who the right back's going to be because I haven't heard any names. There's the Mexican guy. I don't think he'll get a work permit. I think maybe it might just be. Maybe I'm trying to think. Is there someone from the Championship? Maybe we might get Aaron's if we're lucky. Aaron's might realise Norwich is a sinking ship again and just go get me out now. I don't want to be here anymore. Maybe we can convince them to take John Joe Kenny and some money. But I don't really know that. I can't think of any names, to be honest with you. I think that'd have to be somewhere where I take a deep look into it to find names. Maybe someone from Holland. But besides that, I think there will be a right back. Solomon Rondon, I think, will come in, which I've said I've not got a problem with.
Yeah.
The guys, a lot of people are complaining, but they have to realise he's a backup, just like Josh King was. His job is to sit there on the bench, and just in case we've got no other choice, because remember, Richarlison will be the other striker. So in the end, Rondon's third choice. Rondon's not a bad third choice striker because he'll be on very low wages, and I think he'll be free. So in the end, you can't complain about that. We were complaining about Townsend. Well, some fans were complaining about Townsend. Townsend's proved us wrong. Well, a lot of fans wrong. And yes, I think Rondon will come in. I just think it's Rafa. Rondon is a part of the Rafa package. And then I think it'll be a right back. And if we're lucky, Diaz will come in and hopefully we can agree somewhat. Maybe McKennie, because there were rumours that Juve were saying, give us Moise Kean and then you can have your 25 million and we'll give you McKennie on loan. But Allegri went, he's a Juventus player, but then at the same time, when talking about Moise Kean, he went, oh, he's an Everton player. So I'd love McKennie, but I do think it's going to be a right back and Rondon are the two that are definitely going to happen, in my opinion.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think there'll be an Everton surprise on Tuesday. I think there'll be a decent surprise. I think there'll be a good shock. I still think Richarlison could leave. And I know I didn't list my names, but I really do think he could go. I think if Real Madrid really, really want Mbappe, I can see him going and I can see Richarlison going to PSG. I really can.
I'm trying to think. Maybe we could do something with PSG where we swap someone.
But so I think any deal involving PSG and Richarlison could also involve Idrissa Gana Gueye as a Gomez replacement, or we bring in a right back from them. I don't know who they're right back, but
unless we can pull a miracle and convince him to give us Icardi, but he's a bit of baggage at the same time, a bit of a personality problem. So I don't know. It's very difficult. I think I personally wouldn't want Gana Gueye back. No offense, Gana Gueye, I love you, but midfield's performing right now. Why? And do we really want to play three defensive midfielders? In a sense,
my concern is you get rid of Andre Gomez. Can you name me our whole midfield?
Gabamin, Tom Davies, Alan Decore, and then I don't know. Gana Gueye is the fifth option. Will he, unless he's willing to take a massive wage cut? Like, I like Gana Gueye. Don't get me wrong, I love him.
Gomez is on 120 grand a week.
True, but that's being a mistake, isn't it? Paying rotation players. If I got Gana Gueye, we'll accept like 60 to 70k a week to be told, listen, because you might be a backup, but we also know Alan tends to get injured. Decore has been injured before. You'll play a decent amount, and because it might be you rotate with Alan, but at the same time, I think Gana Gueye is too good to sit on the bench. So I think he'll realise, why would I do that when I come off the bench for PSG? Why would I want to come off the bench? He probably does still like Everton, but I think I'd much rather come off the bench for PSG and possibly win a Champions League than come off the bench for Everton and possibly win nothing.
Yeah, fair enough. Right, Callum, I think we should leave it there, my friend. Thank you for your time today. Stream's a bit longer than I wanted, but no big deal. We smashed it, mate. I think the player ratings are fair. I think the deadline day is going to be very interesting. I haven't decided if I'm going to do a live stream at any point during deadline day, but if you are free, it'd be good to have you on deadline day, obviously. Guys, Callum, obviously you're not unfamiliar with the channel, but where can everyone find you, my friend?
You can find me on at Twitter at Callum Brannan 3, I think it is. I might be wrong there, but I think that's correct. You can find me on Prince Rupert's Tower now. I've finally started writing again. Just wrote something for the Brighton game. And maybe a few other spreads. You can find me on the Toffee Blues sometimes. You can find me on Twitter ranting. You can maybe eventually find me on my own YouTube channel when I can finally be asked to get everything set up. Maybe we'll be doing some stuff on Everton. Might be considering doing some Football Manager. You never know. We'll see. But I'll probably put that on Twitter when it happens. But yeah, that's everywhere you can find me.
Cool. Guys, I'll see you soon. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and like. We are literally something like 60 subs away from 10k, and it feels like it's taking forever. So if you guys can speed that up for me, that would be fucking marvelous. I'll see you soon. Peace.